Challenge number 4 of Studio 52, and the question this week is, how did you first become a believer and follower of Jesus Christ? So our basic rudimentary testimony, which is probably never basic. I know that there are certain touch points I had with God along the way, early childhood. I have some examples and such, but the point where I had a life-changing experience with Jesus was when I was 17, almost 18 years old, and I wasn't out looking for God. I wasn't really in touch with the fact that I was a sinner, needing to be saved by grace. I didn't understand any of that. But I did know a guy that we kept touching bases, and he had been kind of a wild guy a bit, and something had changed. And he started going to some church that was in someone's home, which seemed kind of strange and different, but there were a lot of high school students going to it. And so every time he would ask me out, he asked me to go to church with him at this home church. And I talked to my sister. I have 4 sisters, but my sister that was closest in age and who had been a hippie, and I said, Dave just keeps asking me to go to this church. I don't know what to do about it. And her advice to me was, go ahead and go with an open mind. And so I thought, yeah, okay, I can do it. So I went to this gathering, and everyone was nice and just ready to sit around and hear this teaching. And the teaching was from the Bible, and I listened, and I don't know intellectually what really clicked, but I know that my spirit clicked. And when it was time to pray, and it was time that they asked us if we wanted to follow Jesus, I was all in, and I don't even know why exactly. When I prayed that prayer, it was absolutely life-changing at that moment. It was something happened in me, and all the weight that I didn't even know that I was carrying, all the heaviness, all the shame, all the guilt, everything was off. I felt free and amazing and like unstoppable. It was glorious. I told my best friend at that time, I told her, I said, don't ever let me forget this, because I was afraid it was this temporary thing. And in fact, it was a bit temporary for me, because once I understood about sin and the basics of salvation, when I made a mistake and I did sin, I didn't know how to go back to God, and I did what people do, and biblically what people have done, and we hide from God. And so I hid from God, and then my heart got kind of harder, and pretty soon I had remembered that, but I wasn't walking with Jesus. And it took me a few years to struggle, and they weren't pleasant years for the most part. And it was when I became pregnant with my daughter that I really just knew that I needed to find God like that again, and I did. And so that was about when I was almost 21, and I've been walking with Jesus ever since. And that's my basic testimony, and it was the invitation of a handsome young man that took me to the place where I needed and I got to meet Jesus. And so God uses all sorts of things to get us to that place, and I am so thankful for it.